Stalker Nation. Once again, it's I, your host, the G-Man, and we're back as we continue our Around the NFL as we do a team-by-team review of 2015. We're kind of to the middle of the pack, and you're going to hear from these reviews that I expect them to kind of be in the middle of the pack. So who we're going to talk about today are the Atlanta Falcons. Talk about a tale of two seasons. Beginning of the year, they were completely lights out. They could do no wrong. Their new coach came in and provided them with an energy, and their defense was swarming. And Gus Bradley or not Gus Bradley, rather, Quinn had them rolling up and down the field defensively. They were ball hawks. They were taking it away, and then all of a sudden that stopped. And then they had some injuries, and their offensive line. I've never seen so many injuries on an offensive line. And Matt Ryan couldn't get out of his own way, and he fumbled the ball and turned it over constantly. And all of a sudden, next thing you knew, they weren't in the playoffs. They weren't in the playoffs for a reason. They weren't a very good team. They weren't a very rounded team. But let's talk about what went right, what went wrong, and what they can hope for in the future as they improve. Start at the top. What went right is I do think that their coach, I think Quinn is going to help them. I think he gave them an energy. He masked some of the fact that they actually didn't have the talent. So I think he's the right pick, and I think he could help them improve, and I think he's going to change their mindset. I was not a Mike Smith fan. I think he was the most bland, vanilla, conservative coach in the world. And if you've listened to the other podcasts, you know I can't stand conservative. I'd go big or go home, right? I'd rather miss by a lot than miss by a little, because you don't get anything for finishing in second place. And I think that's what Mike Smith was. I don't think Quinn is that way. I think he's willing to be aggressive. So I think that went right. I think they have the most physically gifted wide receiver in football in Julio Jones. It's amazing to me he doesn't catch more touchdowns, but he's huge. He's fast. He doesn't drop balls. He does get dinged quite a bit, and people think that's more about him. I think it's because he plays hard and he gets beat up so much because he is so big. Guys really take their shots at him. He catches a lot of his balls across the middle. So I think he's the best receiver in football. They might have uncovered a running back or even two. No one expected Devontae Freeman to come out of the gate and have 8 touchdowns in the first 3 weeks. He was out of his mind, including catching the ball, picking up the blitz. They drafted Tevin Coleman to basically take his spot. Tevin Coleman went down with an injury after having a decent first game, and Freeman never looked back, and it was all his game moving forward. So I think that helps them as well. So I think there are some bright spots. On defense, I think injuries to their first-round picks certainly hurt them. Everybody needs pass rush help. They're no different. But I think they do have, with those injuries coming back, I think they'll improve. They do need some interior line help as well. Their D-backs were okay. Their linebackers also okay. You can also always improve there. But I think they need help on the front and on the back end. What went wrong? Matt Ryan. Let's start with Matt Ryan. If someone can explain to me what happened, you're a better man than I am. I don't know where this guy's head was. I don't know if it was a change in system. I don't know if it's a change in scheme. But Matt Ryan used to be your definition of upper middle tier quarterback, Pro Bowler, but not all pro. Last year, he lost his mind and just dropped the ball and threw it all over the field multiple times. There were other games where he was himself, but he looked like bad Eli Manning for large stretches of last year. And that's not good, because Eli Manning, when he looks bad, looks terrible. So that didn't go well. Roddy White, another guy, great career, seems like a really good guy. It's over. And they actually announced that it was over in Atlanta. He did not retire. He got released from Atlanta. So that was a problem for them. They didn't have a secondary receiver to go along with Roddy White. They drafted some young guys. They drafted Hardy to try to be that guy. It just never panned out. Tight end remains a problem. They haven't had one since Tony Gonzalez. That didn't change this year. Offensive line, again, shambles. They have a good left tackle. They had a lot of injuries, and maybe it will improve. Maybe these younger guys will be able to play when they come back just from injuries, but they really need some help on the offensive line. Defensively, I do think they need to fill that front seven. I think that the Quinn system works best when you have ball hawks, interchangeable guys who can run any type of defensive scheme. They like to run a multi 4-3-3-4 blitz package, and they just don't have the horses for that yet. The back end should be fine for the next couple of years, but they just don't have the horses for that. What to expect in the future? Well, unfortunately, they're picking in the middle of the pack, right? They picked 17 this year. So they're upper middle. I think that's where they're going to be. I think they're about an 8-win team. Matt Ryan needs to discover what he was before to even get them to that 8-win plateau. But I just think they're in a difficult enough division that it's going to be hard for them to rise far above that. Their talent level doesn't scream anything more than what we've seen so far. So I do think they're kind of stuck in that 8-8 pattern. That's not necessarily bad. I don't know too many Atlanta Falcons fans unless you live in Atlanta, but for me, that's what I think of Atlanta this year. I am your host, the G Man, and boys, I am out.